This video is brought to you by StoneAgeGamer.com. It's where I go for my retro gaming systems, games, accessories, and more. So be sure to check out StoneAgeGamer.com. Hey guys, what's going on? This is John, and this is a kind of a walkthrough of a really cool independently owned game store in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh. I was here for work a little while ago, and I met up with my buddy Bill, aka Alpha Omega Sin, and he recommended hitting this place up. So we went here together. This place is really cool. So this is like the ultimate place for gamers, because not only do they have like modern games, but they also have retro games as well as tabletop gaming. So kind of a lot of different games for a lot of different interests, obviously, and it's laid out really cool. They've got a lot of action figures, as you saw there, a lot of Star Wars figures, a lot of Lord of the Rings figures, even movies and DVDs. There's some Dragon Ball Z's figures. There's the X-Men, Power of the Force 2 figures from Star Wars, which I collected back in the day. I have a ton of Star Wars figures myself. We'll start with the GameCube and PlayStation 2 games that they have here. Quite a few. Everything's alphabetical. Everything's laid out nice. The staff is friendly. And I believe they have tournaments here as far as tabletop gaming goes as well. And they definitely have a Facebook page, which I will put a link in the description so you can check out their Facebook. And if you are in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, I definitely recommend you guys check this place out. Here's some Wii games. Interesting news came out recently about Nintendo's recent struggles with selling the Wii U. That's unfortunate, but nevertheless, the Wii does have some gems despite a lot of the quote shovelware a lot of people say is out there. PSP games, of course, a lot of Atari 2600, my favorite Coleco, and Intellivision. Notice all the box and television games they have. Super cool. And there's a box Atari 2600 and 7800 games. Even some Odyssey 2 games there tucked in the corner. Here's some Genesis games, of course. Miss Pac-Man, Altered Beast. Tend to find that there's a lot more boxed Genesis games because of the plastic clamshell than you'll find a lot of other retro games. Echo the Dolphin, which I really like. Eternal Champions is a really, really fun fighter. Definitely recommend it on the Sega CD if you can. There's more characters to play from, and this audio is a lot better. John Madden Football, some of the earlier versions, John Madden. You got a lot of sports titles, but as you can see, there's a lot of non-sports titles. Just everything's alphabetical. I love the PGA Tour and Ren and Stimpy. Love that show back in the day. And Triple Play Baseball is a really fun baseball. I was amazed actually playing Joe Montana football for the Genesis first time because all the audio was impressive for me back in the day. Nintendo, a lot of Nintendo games. Nothing too rare in this area of the store. They have a cabinet up front you'll see later in the video where they have a lot more games that are a little more uncommon. Nothing at that point when I was here, nothing I saw super rare, but a lot of cool must-have games. Metal Gear, Ice Hockey is one of my favorite ones, of course. Always hurts my thumbs playing that game, but it's great. Bart vs. Space Mutants, Tetris, of course, there, and WrestleMania. Here's the Super Nintendo titles as well. As you can see, a lot of them are loose, of course, but some really good ones. RoboCop 3, the game right there. It looks like there's Killer Instinct in the corner there, top right corner. It's a black cartridge. Home Alone, based on the movie. Primal Rage, which is a great Atari fighting game with dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. There's like a Vegas slots one, and there's College Slam, which is kind of like NBA Jam for college. Here's the N64, and what I really liked about N64, the way they have it laid out, is they had the labels there. You can see what titles are. Starting at the bottom, we got some Saturn games. What's cool about their Saturn collection is it's not just a lot of times I go to these stores and see a lot of sports titles, but they had a lot of non-sports titles. D, which is a great game. And Primal Rage again for the Saturn. There's Nights into Dreams, which is a must-own, I think. I just absolutely love that. I think there's two versions of that. There's the long box and the small box that came with the controller, if I'm not mistaken. Space Jam, based on the movie with Michael Jordan. Love the soundtrack for that. Mortal Kombat 3, which is a great one. I mentioned before there are some modern games too. Just going to briefly go over some of the modern games. Well, PS3 games, I guess it's not really the current gen anymore per se. And there's some more NES games. Just going over some more Genesis titles that didn't see before. Super Street Fighter 2, which is a great game for the Genesis. Just great game in general. Virtual Racing, based on the arcade. I remember the first time I played Virtual Racing in the arcades and just being blown away with the graphics. And looking back on it, the graphics haven't aged well because of the chip they use. But really, really fun racing game by Sega. They always seem to be kind of ahead of the curve when it came to arcade games, and Virtual Racing definitely did not disappoint. So these were all the loose cards I showed you before, all the box cards. Here's some Sega Dreamcast games, as well as some 32X titles, some controllers as well. You notice briefly there's two controllers. There was the controller in the white box and the controller in the blue box. The blue box is actually Dreamcast from overseas, either in Europe or Australia. A lot of them are imported here in the States. It's got the blue swirl instead of the orange swirl that you typically see in Dreamcast. Sega CD titles as well, Cliffhanger. Here's 32X titles, Metalhead, Doom, which is a really fun, good game for the 32X. My favorite one is their Star Wars. That's probably one of my favorite ones. And they have Virtual Racing. The Pico. They have Pico games. How often do you see Pico games out in the wild? For those who don't know what Pico is, it's a learning educational system by Sega based on the Genesis engine. And these right here, the white boxes, are Sega Master System games. A really underrated system, in my personal opinion. Love the Sega Master System. Going on to the PlayStation 1. These are always fun. PlayStation 1, obviously there's a ton of games for the system. I mean, there's just a plethora of them, and a lot of great ones. It really was the system back in the day that really made, for me, really interested in CDs for as a platform for gaming. Of course, there's Alpha and Omega Sin hanging out. I'm not quite sure what he picked up at the time. I picked up a few games myself. I don't recall what I picked up, to be honest with you. It was several months ago I went here. But here are some PlayStation 2 titles, a ton of them, just briefly going over, just kind of giving ideas as far as the mass of games that they have. And they do trade-ins and stuff like that here, which is cool. And these are just a display. These are all on display here, but a really cool, almost like a mini museum of classic consoles that they have. I love even the 3D puzzles they have, but just a ton of really cool items. A lot of them are really rare. As well as you'll see, just going down the line, there's a power pad, which is kind of like the predating the Dance Dance Revolution. There's Rob the Robot, of course, and these are classic Xbox games. I want to say Xbox One, but that would confuse people. So I'll say the original Xbox, and just a ton of them. I believe they had Conker's Hair was one that was kind of an uncommon game, and just kind of an overview of kind of the gaming area. And you can see they have quite a few people here playing some games. I spy some Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles there in the background. Pretty sweet. Love that series growing up. And these are more of the uncommon area. This area here. They had some homebrew games and reproduction cards, which was cool. And of course some playing cards. Anyway, this is a really cool place, guys. It's called the Gamemaster's Realm. I'll put a link to their Facebook page below. I really encourage you guys to check this place out. Show love to these retro gaming stores because these are independently owned. And I just tip my hat to these places because it's places like this that really keep retro gaming alive. Appreciate you guys leaving a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. Please be sure to leave a comment and thumb up this video if you enjoyed it. See you guys soon. Happy gaming. Take care.